I know this, but maybe a lot of people don't know this. You're the head coach at the University of Michigan. And I know you call Derby, Kansas home, right?
Yeah.
But you moved around. Talk about being a son of your dad was in the military. You guys bounced around. Just talk about growing up, what that was like for you.
Man, it was awesome. I got to be around so many different types of places. I was born in Del Rio, Texas. I don't really remember much, but I know we moved from Texas to Panama, California, to England.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
How old were you at that point?
I was about 4 or 5.
Okay, so you were bouncing around.
Yeah, so when I was in England, the thing, I remember 2 things vividly. I remember messing with the soldiers at Buckingham Palace, trying to make them blink. And the other thing I remember is like make them blink and move.
Yeah.
They didn't move.
Yeah.
And then getting milk delivered to the house, like in those little cartons. It was the best milk I've ever had.
That's so cool.
Then we moved from there to New Jersey. And I spent a long time of my life where my dad was in Cali, my mom and me were in New Jersey. My dad's still in the military.
Okay.
My mom worked in the hospital. And it was a great time. My cousin, my aunt, my grandma lived in New Jersey as well, but it was one of those areas that not as safe as a place like Derby, Kansas.
Yeah.
So a place you had to be in a little earlier than home, but it was a great place. I built a lot of great relationships. And then we moved to Kansas, and then that's when kind of my life of football started, because I didn't really play football until my sophomore year in high school.
Holy cow. What were you doing up to that point?
I was playing basketball.
Okay.
I thought I was going to Charles Barkley. I thought I was going to NBA. Then I realized 6'4" centers in the NBA don't exist.
Yeah.
So ended up going to Derby, Kansas. Me and my mom and my dad lived there together. Both my parents from Trinidad and Tobago, so they didn't know much about football.
Yeah.
My dad was big into soccer. So my mom didn't really want me to play it when I was younger. I'm an only child, and got the chance to play my sophomore year as a defensive
What made her
lineman.
green light it?
Well, I think she saw just kind of the passion I had for wanting to be around my friends and building relationships with other people.
Yeah.
It wasn't really the sport specifically, because she definitely didn't like the violence
Physicality
of it,
of it,
physicality, but ended up playing. Started my junior year at left tackle in high school, then I went to junior college, Butler, then went to Oklahoma, and then started my coaching career.
So all of that, what did you learn, you think, that helps you in life or in coaching? All that travel, meeting all these different people, being in different socioeconomic areas. How do you think that helped you, just in life, being a dad, being a husband, being a coach?
I think it helped me just be able to mold and shift and talk to different types of people. I don't think, regardless of what you look like, where you're from, I feel like I can relate to any type of person.
Totally, yeah.
And no person's too big, no person's too small from a personality or where they're from or what they've done in their life. And I just like being around people. I just like getting to know new people. That's why I love recruiting. I love getting in families' homes and getting to know new kids and build a relationship with kids and watching them grow as human beings.
Played at Oklahoma. What did you learn there? How did that impact your life, being a part of that program, coming after community college?
You learned about how championships are built, the standard of a great program, what it's supposed to look like. Bob Stoops, who I literally just talked to the other day, and you just learn how to be a man and how to run a program the right way and how a leader, what that should look like from his perspective. And learn so much from him and never forget those days.
What made you go into coaching? I mean, we all get done, you're playing, whether you go to the NFL or you're done in college, you got to make a choice in life, right? I mean, what made you say, okay, NFL, whatever that world is, I'm going this way?
Yeah, I mean, a couple variables. I played a little bit at Oklahoma, had a lot of guys that were All-Americans and stuff from me, and probably could have went and did the training thing, maybe been a free agent.
Sure.
I was just like, I have a passion for this. And watching Coach Stoops, watching my coaches of the past and watching how they molded people, I really wanted to do that. And the things that I learned from them, I wanted to teach young men. So
you're talking not just football, you're talking molding and
I'm talking about life as people, like adversity that you face and things that you'll do that you don't see, and how football helps you in the business world and life do things, molding. So that, for me, that was a passion of mine.
That's awesome. For people that aren't familiar, you talk about fast track. I mean, you were a GA, and the next thing you know, I mean, your career.
Yeah.
How did that happen? You're kind of a diamond in the rough as far as your run.
Yeah, I think first being in the right place at the right time with the right people, The man upstairs blessing me humbly.
Yeah.
I was a GA at the University of Louisville with Charlie Strong.
Yeah.
And it was going in the third year, about game 3 or 4. And the guy that was coaching the tight ends was the offensive coordinator. Well, he let him go mid-season. And he put me in his office and said, Sherrone, you're going to be the tight end coach for the rest of the year.
And how old are you?
I think I was like 25.
Wow.
And I was an offensive line GA. So you talk about you're coaching the O-line, and now you're going to learn the passing game.
Yeah.
So it was next week you got to learn every pass concept we got in the system. My offensive coordinator at the time, Sean Watson, who's now the head coach at Wofford, he told me during the summer, he said, you need to learn the passing game. So I would sit down with him and learn the passing game, learn how he taught the passing game, learn the progression, learn how he taught the quarterback. And it just ended up coming to fruition that I needed that toolbox.
Right.
And for me, it was huge, and I learned so much from him. But it was I remember being in the office at on that Monday, me coaching the tight ends for the first time. I was in the office till 3 in the morning. I just slept there, woke up at 5 and kept going, trying to figure out, make sure I had everything right for the tight end meeting the next day.
Wow.
When I had to coach them I was the head guy in that room. So for me, it was
a
quick transition.
Yeah.
But you had to learn and you had to adjust and adapt.
What's amazing to me when I look at your career, because I've talked to you about, when I think of Bo Schembechler, I think of line play, and I think of defense.
Yep.
And when Lloyd Carr era was over and they went to Rich Rod and Brady Hoke, the one thing that's been missing here, and you were a tight end coach here, and it was still kind of trying to find their way. But in 21, when you took over as a line coach, and you guys, I think, won the Joe Moore Award that year, it was like, that's Michigan.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, you had never coached offensive line.
No, that was my first year. Yeah, I played it.
So how in the world did you go from Michigan struggling for 10 years at that position that had so much history to all of a sudden becoming, there's Michigan's offensive line to this day, 21, 22, 23, 24. Now they're back.
Yeah.
How'd you do that?
Big credit was to the kids. Obviously Coach Harbaugh on what he wanted, the vision he wanted, and giving me the autonomy to do that and saying, hey, run the room how you want it. And for me, I always thought the best teams were driven by the offensive line. Yeah. And went in the room, gave them my thoughts of what we needed to do to win, but the kids were really heck bent on trying to go win at every second and do whatever they could to be great. And the players really took a lot of accountability in trying to be really good. And the toughness, the way we practiced, the aggressiveness, it really just all came to form, and the team bought into it. Yeah. It wasn't just the O-line. But it was the running backs, it was the quarterback, it was the receivers, it was the defense, and the defense fed off the offense. The culture just shifted. And but there'd be days, we're the offensive line and we're going against Aiden Hutchinson, you can't block him. Right. And David Ojabo. Right. So you have to definitely figure out ways to make sure that your mind is ready to go every day. And I think they did that, and it's really carried on to sustain what we have in that room.
So the last year you filled in some games early, filled in some games late. You become the guy, you got a game under your belt, you got a big one coming up. What's it like sitting in that chair? It's hard for any head coach, with the new NIL and the portal. What's it like being the head coach at the University of Michigan right now?
It's humbling. You come in the building every single day and you think about how did I get in this spot? Why do I deserve this? So always sit in the chair every day, say a prayer, thank the Lord for giving me the ability to do this and the chance to do this. But really, it's just everybody that's been in the building the past 3 years, the past couple of years, especially the players. They really have a lot of faith in me, and I have a lot of faith in them. So I just work tirelessly to make sure I do everything I can to make sure they're successful.
So I have to ask you, on the outside world, all the stuff about Michigan, they're in trouble, Connor Stallions, all that. How do you block that out? You guys had experience of that last year. How do you block that out and get your guys to just Texas, whatever? Maybe that's just natural to them. But man, as an outsider, it's like, when is this going to go away?
I think for the kids, it's the type of kids we brought in. They're very driven on the process and what we do and how do we attack everything. But they're also very driven on, they're competitors. They want to win. So they always know, when you're in Michigan, people are going to talk about you whether you win or you lose. Yeah. So you have to be ready for everything that's going to go on outside of here. So for us, it's a very laser-focused approach.
If you give me 3 words that you want people, when they watch Michigan this year, whether you win them, you lose, what are 3 words that come to mind when you hope people see when they watch Michigan play this year?
First one, probably tough. You know, we won't be tough. We won't be physical, violent, all those things that describe just a tough team. We want to play smart. We want to play penalty-free football and do things the right way. But you know, love and togetherness. You know, I think for us, it's all about the team, the team, the team. Individuals are going to make their plays, but as long as we're together as a team, we're going to go in the right direction.
Awesome. Thank you, man.
Appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
You posed at the end.